Hello, I'm Dan Harmon.
I'm Donald Glover.
I'm Danny Pooty.
I'm Chris McKenna.
Adam Davidson.
Adam directed this episode. Adam Davidson. Sometimes we call him David Adamson.
Or Alan Davidson, or
David Allen Greer, I call him.
Call him Davidson University.
These kids who are about to make their first appearance, we love these young kids.
They're so funny.
Some people misinterpreted these kids as like, well, I don't like these kids. Like they're supposed to be incredibly annoying, nauseatingly intimidating, and you're supposed to want to strangle them. So
yes, mission accomplished.
If you found yourself wanting to strangle them, then we nailed it.
That was part of the casting process, too, saying, I want to strangle you right now. You got the job.
Yeah, they played snooty. Like, yeah, watching the episode, like, even the points where they were just, like, shooting them, I was like, oh, these guys are jerks. Like, I just want to get them back.
Yeah.
All of us were just, like, shaking our heads in the corner watching them and just reflecting on our high school years.
But it was this thing where, like, you guys did a good job of, like, writing it, because I felt really, I was just like, how do you fight Schmitty?
Yeah,
like, how do you fight that? Because, like, they're just going to say Schmitty again.
It's sort of based on all of our, in the writer's room, all of our opinions of youth, the things about youth that intimidate us without us admitting it. One is like just the fact that you don't have to be witty when you're young to win an argument.
No.
And you can also make up your own language.
Yeah.
And McKenna, the duh thing is based on an actual story.
Yeah, I had a friend in high school who this was in his arsenal of annoyances. This was like his global thermonuclear war, where it was the only way to win is not to play.
Wow.
And one guy tried to win for an hour, 2 hours.
I went on for like 2 hours. I mean, it was just like, it just bummed everyone.
That's commitment to a battle.
Yeah.
Pierce in a beret. That's just a pleasant sight.
My airship, and we'll visit the man in the moon.
That's a real guitar he's crashing.
Yes.
And it's hard to break.
By the way, it's not easy to break a guitar. I realized you had to flip it to the backside to actually crack it. That took a long time.
They're designed not to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly, they're like, well, these are going to get tossed around a lot. Let's make sure they don't shatter.
So are those Boondocks shirts that you sometimes are wearing, your character?
Yeah.
That's a Boondock shirt, which
People
I think is
go crazy for that.
everyone
on Twitter.
wanted those.
The Twitter game,
It's
people
a
are like,
Sony show, I believe.
Yeah, and it makes people think we're hip, but truly, it's just free.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
It's a Sony show.
it's free.
After a lot of episodes, they're always like,
We'd wear a Hitler shirt if Sony was making a Hitler movie.
4.
It was free.
Stand up for a second. Yep, here we go. I don't know if you noticed the sagging in my pants. Foreshadowing.
I wore a unitard in another episode, but for this reason, I was very terrified. I was like, oh, people gonna see my package?
Someone was on my list.
The Pierce character is in an odd state in this episode. He really bounces back from that smashed guitar because young men are in their underwear.
If you notice,
He's like, oh, who cares about that guitar that I bought for $500?
And then he does this. I thought this was a great idea. The writers pitched this to me, and I was like, we were almost at the end of the run of our show, and I was like, this is great. Here's why I think it's great. Because, as I've said before, Pierce is our Eric Cartman or our Archie Bunker, but I love accountability. I love the idea of in TV, sometimes it's like that character, the Eric Cartman character, you don't, like, let's put him on trial. Let's have the characters be more real, the ones around him, by going, you know what, enough is enough. And it's hard to write a story that would provoke an enough is enough conversation with a character like Pierce, who has already been accepted as racist, homophobic, sexist, in all these ways. So, and then your mind goes to, well, what physically can he do? And then you go, okay, not on a sitcom.
Yeah.
And then this was just a great idea. That's when this was at the end of the year. Many people have said our episodes started getting better and better. We hired a lot of great writers. The writers were great in the first place, but I don't know. We found our footing, and we brought on guys like Chris McKenna and Emily Cutler, who started this show in the home stretch into a new sort of like awesomeness. What am I talking about? Shut up. Just drink your beer and shut up. Fat asshole.
I like Gillian's Walkman Discman right
Oh
there.
my! I laughed so hard when
That
he
was-
goes, "Oh my God, is she wearing a disc?" Because he looks legit, like scared, like she can't possibly be wearing a
I've seen that in a
Discman.
museum. So
Yeah.
sad.
The relationship between Britta and Jeff in this show, in this episode, is it's,
Awesome.
It's my wildest dream come true that you could create these sibling kind of characters. These two equally petty people. Who barely get along except in matters of pettiness, and they're just so great together. And people, they go, well, "Do you think those characters have chemistry?" I go, "No, I think they have a complete lack of chemistry, and I think that is a form of chemistry."
Yeah.
Chevy really embraced this scene, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in and out, one take apiece.
You're not?
He still assumes I'm a terrorist.
If you're not, I'm sorry. And if you are, I'm a hero. I'm willing to take that chance.
You said
I
I
love
have
that
a
joke.
crafty
Thanks, I wrote that.
brain.
Nobody knows how to take a compliment anymore.
Look, either he leaves the group or I do.
You just dug your own grave.
I will point out later, though, speaking of writing jokes, that another important thing about this episode is I was in the edit bay, and sometimes the writers are on the set. Often the writers are on the set, and I'm not at all. And often the director is like, "Can we beat that line?" Or the actor's having trouble with it. The writers do a floor rewrite. This is the first episode, right at the end of the run. I'm in the edit bay, and one of these jokes that the writers came up with on the set is truly the best, my favorite line of the entire season. It's an Abed line that comes up later in the second act, and I'll point it out. Chris McKenna came up with it, and I texted him and really, really kissed his ass to make sure he'd stay on the show forever.
I get a co-created by credit.
Oh, here comes Stinky Turd Face. Remember, we don't
Stinky
stop.
turd face.
She bought binoculars.
Yeah.
Expensive binoculars. She could have bought a mini iPod with those, but she bought binoculars instead.
Big equipment. The Discman, the binoculars.
She takes economics next season.
Oh, monies, she'll say.
Claricel, what time's your mommy picking you up? After she's done shooting the Real Housewives of Greendale County?
Real Housewives of Greendale County. Duh!
That's a clever retort.
That's a clever retort. Duh!
Man, these were so painful to watch, too.
It is so painful to watch. He's like, your parents are the voice. That's where it's like the tower starts crumbling. It's like, I'm just gonna say mean things.
Yeah.
It's like your mom's in a wheelchair. Like it's like awful. It's like, what's something kids do?
And the moral here has something to do with the fact that you don't try to be young. They've got it covered. If you're 25, enjoy it. If you're 35, enjoy it. Every age has something to offer.
That's something.
Mascot. Stealing a rival school's mascot was part of Abed's list.
There's another little wild card.
Oh my gosh, that goat was crazy.
As if,
Putting at the table, Adam, I think that was...
I
that was just...
in Chevy's position,
I couldn't
too.
resist replacing Chevy for a scene with a lookalike.
I almost deleted the goat from the script when I was doing a pass through the script because I saw the goat and I was like, well, how funny is that going to be? You put an animal on the thing and you see that in shows all the time. But I left it in because people were laughing at the table read and stuff, and I
Very dangerous.
then I go to this. I look up at the monitor, and the goat is sitting where Pierce used to sit.
Yeah.
And I was like, there was a joke happening I didn't even get, and that's a great example of we talk about the relationships between writers and directors, the collaboration. Like a director looks at stuff like a crazy person.
By the way, this is one of my favorite Donald moments of the year.
Is an scapegoat. I think we should just let this one go.
Sometimes you've got to be pretending.
I love the goat's focus in the scene too. It's really
I love the
Yeah.
I love the part where like we're all cracking up and I'm like, oh, like he's already I'm already okay with him being part of the group. It's like
I love that.
Yeah.
I love all that. I love Annie. We do make a lot of fun of a lot of things you say and do.
I love that.
If you've just tuned in, we love it. We love our show.
Yes,
but
we do.
I mean, it was right at the end. These are shot in a different order than you saw them, and I would spend the next 20 minutes explaining that. It's not a bad thing. It was because we got an extra 3 episodes. This was one of the ones that we shot. Wait,
Is this the last,
was the very
this
last
episode we
This was the
shot?
last
Yeah.
episode that we shot. I was afraid to say it. I thought I'd be wrong, but So it's just we are at our absolute peak of these guys knowing each other. You watch the gag reel, you see Danny Pudi telling Gillian she has a booger in her nose for 5 minutes. Nobody around them is even thinking that it's unusual. These actors have bonded 15 hours a day.
They're like, we're ready to roll once they get the booger out of Gillian's nose.
It was like, fine.
Not.
I love that.
That's actually a two-parter from her Snake that she did a couple episodes back.
Yeah, it's just so perfect.
This concept of a character that's funny because she's not funny is finally understood by everybody on the same page.
Nut.
By the way, those
so
hats,
awkward.
those hats that Donald and I are wearing are actually from Animal House.
Yeah,
right?
they're the actual hats from Animal House. No joke. It's so cool.
Like an idiot.
That's one of 8,000 Donald Glover improvs.
There's a picture of us wearing those in black and white, and I was like, we kind of look badass. Me and
Yeah, I love that picture. Yeah. Here we go. Everyone's worst nightmare.
Oh, so amazing.
Yep.
I know you don't want to hear what I have to say. From the moment we first met, I knew you were going to be a very...
Seriously.
I love how that chick, though, is kind of like, I don't really have a problem with it.
Let's hear what he has to say. Let's hear what he has to say first.
I don't remember.
Flowers.
She thinks she's being racist. She's like, oh, I don't know this white dude. Is that white dude?
That's not my ex-husband.
You get a specific type of acting when you're involving extra. What do they call them now? Background actors, and it's not. It's not because background actors are lower caliber actors. It's because they're not getting paid to talk. Yeah. You can't interface with them. So you get there's always that very specific background actor.
Just like zip. It's like nothing.
Just
there.
accept everything.
Just accept it.
One of the funniest things in this episode, it was a second ago, Allison Brie's reaction when she's caught by Shirley is like a squirrel.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh every time.
She wants to run.
She's kind of in fight mode, looking around like these guys.
That's what we call a dovetail that you just saw. A dovetail. Two stories dovetailing together.
I love that it's Britta who comes up with the idea of how to get back.
We labored to get this in one shot. Like, we'll watch these two together.
One thing, you need to bang that kid's mom. After we fix everything with Shirley.
Whoa.
And you like these guys, but they're just terrible people.
They're terrible, but it's so awesome.
I don't want to say they're the opposite of Jim and Pam, but I mean, Office is my favorite show and the best show on NBC. But and we have to do something different, and so those characters are just petty.
Yeah,
you the opposite of adore them. You root for them and you identify with them, but they're just bad people. Jeff Winger and Britta Perry.
Jeff Winger.
It's a great contrast, too, of them pulling into the parking lot. Shirley and Pierce. Shirley in a minivan that's abused.
Yeah, that's just awful.
Pierce shows up in an Escalade.
If you look at that van, it looks like
a Cadillac CTS.
It looks like her kids pee on that van. Like, it's so messed up. It
doesn't even bother washing it.
We work out.
Well, I try to keep things where they should be.
Peeking over the bush. No one will shut.
The worst commercial. Adam cast those girls, and that's the end of that sentence. and I said,
Davidson,
are you sure the community All right, I know what's going on. Never mind. We just want to.
He's just trying to get us more
any foul play. That's just
trying to help with the ratings.
This was shot.
This isn't 1930s Hollywood. I don't mean anything happened. I just mean we didn't keep with the community college theme, the reality theme with those car wash girls.
I am back in.
Oh shit! Sorry, I talked over that. That was awesome.
That was one of those scenes where it was like getting dark and we had to finish it within like
we had to shoot it real
2 minutes.
Just so you know, I'm Shirley.
I love this scene.
Reaching for me should you get a hankering for pancakes.
That's a great Aunt Jemima joke, just so you guys know. Like that.
I want? Oh no, they want you in the group, and I quit. So you go ahead and hang with them.
I wrote a really weird version of the scene that we reverted. Remember the table read? I kind of dug in, like, that was really Patty Chayefsky, this fucker. It was a little, got odd reactions. Like it was like, it started involving God and race and stuff. Like, she was like, in this part, she's like, I was at the mall and Britta and Annie were there, and how was I not part of that phone call? I know the only difference between me and the two of them, the only thing they have in common that I don't have involves waistline and age or something like that, like all this weird shit, like really dark, gritty, like, and everyone just sat there and
like a mash, like monologues. Yeah, it's just we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die one day.
Well then, Chopper, if you believe in God, then forgive me.
Leave me my name.
I was really proud of myself, but it was 3 in the morning when I wrote it, and I guess sometimes.
Nobody else in that room, and nobody can ever strip you of that, not even me.
You really believe that?
All right.
And that's why you think Pants and me wasn't wrong.
Listen.
The thing that's, you know, if they were sitting next to each other, he would have leaned in for a kiss, like a kiss.
Yeah.
Who blocked that?
I don't know. She just walked out, I think.
But Pierce makes it through this episode without becoming not racist, which I not because we love racism, but because it's important to believe character like Pierce. You don't like he physically couldn't recognize Shirley from another black woman, and like he comes from an older generation and he's a different guy. And yet, it's tough to tell stories with characters that you've made up your mind are not redemptive. They're not going to just change overnight.
He doesn't even know what that means.
I don't know what. Sometimes on these commentaries, I'll just point out how hard our job is.
No, I think like
that was a high
what were you
jump.
saying with that is like I feel like I know there's other characters like this, but the one thing I learned a lot about that character is like he's not gonna change. We're gonna change.
Yeah,
We're learning
exactly.
about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like we learn a lot about just like okay, that guy's not so bad. I mean, he's horrible,
Right.
but he's not.
Plus,
like
and
he's
that was-
trying.
And it's
And
so
that
many
was-
get over that. It's
Yeah,
like, can
he's
you
like
get
your
over that
granddad.
aspect?
And
He's
that
like
was-
your granddad.
yeah.
He's like he's gonna be like you know when I come over he's gonna be like you know I had a colored friend in the army.
Right.
Like, it's like but he's trying to be good. You know?
And that was your point when we were talking about the episode to me, Dan, was that you need this person in a group like this.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Without it, there's a vacuum, and hence the.
Plus, in a writer's room, if you can have one character that you don't have to give an arc to, that saves.
That's what this is about, guys. Making the jokes hit.
One character that creates a setup so that the punchline can be everyone rolling their eyes. Let's be racist, and then cut around the room.
In a lot of ways, though, he's one of the first characters I flip through scripts. I can't wait to see what you guys write for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Toga.
I created with Sarah Silverman the Sarah Silverman program on Comedy Central. And Sarah was one of the I really loved writing for her because that was her act too. Still is. You know, just that. What would be the worst possible thing you could say? And that character is really important.
Yeah.
This is
Chris McKenna's invention. A doff.
I don't know if I could last this long.
This was supposed to be like the opposite of the billiards, like triumphant.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be like so anticlimactic in their heads. They were like going into this awesome battle, but it's not.
Yeah, there was a lot of debate about this. I mean, collaboration can sometimes just create a Mexican standoff. In which case, I don't know who gets to supersede everybody. I bailed by asking the network if they wanted anything to change. So I knew they'd say no because they're the network. Like, and so we just shot it as we did at the table read. But I know Adam had like, you know, you wanted things about this this third act that the writer didn't, and that I was like I remember talking the three of us and like sort of trying to figure out what the hell is the tone, what is the point of this last beat here. And it's still a little bit of a mystery, but it turned out good.
But I think at the rehearsal scene, I think we stripped some stuff out so there wasn't so much like denouement after this moment. There was a lot of wrap up here.
Yeah, I think in its initial conception there was a lot of explaining happening in this act, and we just wanted to kind of keep it moving towards the finish.
I mean, your big thing, which I totally agreed with, was we got to get from that food fight to this part.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the duh battle to the food fight really quickly. And so we had to shuffle stuff around.
That was Gabe, our prop guy. Gabe, with 2 direct hits to our faces.
So I used my Emmy award-winning original lyrics and music writing skills with Ludwig Göransson to write this song, and I brought Wade Randolph in. He's a Channel 101 buddy of mine.
What was the line? Did we miss Abed's line?
What do you mean?
Which one?
You said there was a funny line that.
Oh shit, we did. I must have babbled over it. The line was the entourage thing. That's this episode. Right?
Yeah.
The
that was like
we've lost our Hank Kingsley, our Cliff Clavin, our turtle, or our E, or our Johnny Drama. Man, that show is sloppy. And I saw that in the edit bay, and I screamed. And we edit next door to CSI Los Angeles, and or NCIS Los Angeles, and sometimes they have to come over and go, "Why don't you cool it? We're making a show about pubic hair over there." That was a day that NCIS LA had to tell me to keep it down a couple times because I was shrieking, "Oh my God!" Like I heard that line, I've just never heard that before, and all of a sudden I'm laughing at my own show.
But then you text message me right away, and you're like, "Who came up with that line? Who came up with that line?"
Oh yeah.
And that was Chris McKenna, who we had a couple of edits. That wasn't
killed it.
Yeah.
Like that, I remember laughing on set about that.
We had a couple different versions of that joke too.
Watching Abed wonder accidentally the realization that Entourage has major fundamental structural problems.
Discovering that to himself.
Because that's what it is. He's like, he still enjoys Entourage.
And then he just found out.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It just becomes a sad moment in my life.